Support Name Explain on Patreon for $1 a month to enjoy ad-free videos, exclusive content, your name at the end of each video, as well as the chance to have your idea for a Name Explain video made into reality. Go to patreon.com/Name Explain or click the link down below. As the world's most populated country, recently overtaking China, and home to 22 official languages and around 100 more state-level languages, it should probably come as no surprise to find out that India isn't the only name that this nation has. The land that makes up modern-day India has a long, ancient history, being ruled by its native inhabitants as well as being claimed by various outside powers. This has resulted in many different names being formed for the land. India is the English language name for the country, and variations of this name in particular are used in other languages too, such as the French und, the Japanese indo, the Dutch indi, and even the Swedish indian. We call these kinds of names exonyms. An exonym is the name for a place used by its non-natives. A prime example of this is with the name Germany, which is the English language exonym for the land. In German, this country is called Deutschland. This kind of name is called an endonym, meaning the name for a place used by its native inhabitants. I've explained this like a million times in previous videos, but you never know if this is someone's first Name Explain video. And if it is, please feel free to subscribe and all that jazz. That'd be great. Cool, thanks. Anyway, back to India. And what's interesting about the name India is that it isn't exactly an exonym in the sense of other exonyms. The name of India is actually used fairly regularly within the nation of India itself. This is because the English language is actually pretty popular within the nation. In fact, it is the second most spoken language in the country. It is one of the official languages of the Indian government, but not one of those 22 official languages previously mentioned. Those 22 are referred to as the 8th schedule to the Constitution of India. It's all a bit confusing, and honestly, the legality of various languages in India doesn't really need to be fully understood for the rest of this video. What we do need to address, however, is the most popular language of India. While English takes silver, Hindi is the language that takes gold as India's most used language. Hindi is the other official language of the Indian government, as well as being one of those 22 official languages. In Hindi, India has the name of Balat, which is written in the Devanagari script like this. Balat is very much the endonym for India, coming from a language formed within the land itself. India and Balat are very much the two most popular names for the nation, which are used by its two most popular languages. The country does have a third popular name, however, that being Hindustan. From my research, these three names are used pretty interchangeably within the country, depending on what language is being used as well as the situation. If we look into those 22 official languages of India, we will see that all of them use a variation of either India, Balat, or Hindustan. Hindustan is going to take a bit of a backseat in the rest of this video, as we're going to be focusing more on the names of India and Balat. This is because Hindustan as a name is very much linked with the name of India, as we shall see. Balat, however, isn't all that linked with India in regards to its origins, and the two names sound nothing alike. So why is this nation, known as India or a variation of that name, to a large majority of the world known as Balat in its most popular language? Let's cover the etymology of India first, shall we? India is one of the many countries on our planet that is named after a river that runs through it, that being the Indus River. This river worked as something of a natural border between India and the surrounding area in the past. Today it runs through the nations of India, China, and Pakistan. And of course, Pakistan was once under the same British rule as India, prior to the partition of the two nations in 1947. This river resides in the northwest of India. This means that from a geographical perspective, it would have been the part of the nation that Europeans would have first come across, specifically the Greeks. Greek explorer Skylax of Kalianda is believed to be the one who brought this name to Europe while exploring this land on behalf of the Persians. In Persian, this river is called the Hindu River, and in Sanskrit it is called the Sindhu, both of which are still used today. This name for the river simply means river. Yeah, as mentioned in a recent video, rivers tend to have pretty uninspired names. But as I'm sure you realize from this river's Persian name, it is also the namesake of that third name for India, Hindustan, with the stan suffix coming from Persian meaning country, as we see with other nearby stan nations. That aforementioned explorer of Skylax would have come across the names of Hindu and Sindhu for this river and brought them back to Greece, where it got corrupted into Indos and eventually became India via Greek geographer Herodotus. Indus, using the Latin "ia" suffix meaning country/land of. So the name really means something like the land of the Indus River. And of course, that Persian name for the river gave us the terms of Hindu and Hindi for the nation's popular religion and language respectively. This formation of the Greek name is believed to have happened in the 5th century BC, and our earliest evidence of the name India appearing in the English language comes from the 9th century AD, where the name was used in Old English. So India is a pretty old name to say the least. Balat, however, is a much older name. The name of Balat is believed to come from India's mythological past. The name is believed to come from King Balata, a legendary figure who played a key role in the Mahabharata, an important piece of Sanskrit literature and an epic which details many of the myths of India and the wider area. His name went on to be used for the Bharatas people, who were seen as being the ancestors of the modern day Indian people. In Indian mythology, there are also others with the name Balata, so there is some debate over which Bharata the name of Balat truly derives from. Despite whoever it really was, it means that the name of Balat comes from a mythological figure, another popular naming convention for countries around the world. All of this explains to us why exactly this country has the 2/3 names of India, Hindustan, and Balat. India/Hindustan are creations of outsiders who applied a name to the land that fits their needs and what they saw there, with what they saw there primarily being the Indus River. Whereas the name of Balat is of native origins and an ode to one of the land's most legendary figures. And of course, the reason the name India picked up so much traction within the nation of India itself is because of the period of time the British Empire had rule in the land. They brought their language of English with them and used the name India primarily. That was also known as the British Raj. While the British no longer rule India, the English language stuck around there as their second most popular language as mentioned, meaning the name of India is used in the land, as well as that native name of Balat. While all this explains to us where those 3 popular names of India, Hindustan, and Balat came from, India has actually had even more names applied to it in its long history, some derived from within the land, and some given to the land by outsiders. Perhaps the oldest known name for the land is Aya Nabuvasa. Apologies about pronunciation in this part of the video. I'll do my research, but unfortunately I don't have a lifetime of understanding these languages behind me. The first part of this name is actually another name for Brahma, a key god in Hinduism. The latter 2 words mean things like center and space respectively, so the name means something along the lines of Brahma in the center of space, to signify their importance in the land. Another name India had in the past was Jambudvipa. This name comes from Sanskrit and is recorded in texts that predate the name of Balat. It means something along the lines of the Berry Island. I guess they thought the land might have been an island at some point, which happened so often in history before a land was fully discovered. The berry in this name relates to the jamon/jambul fruit, a special kind of fruit that holds a sacred place in Indian culture. Aryavata and Dravida are also names that have been used to refer to specific parts of India in the past too. Aryavata means the land of the nobles, while Dravida means the watery meeting place. Interesting older exonyms for India include Tanjore, which was used in China's past to refer to the land and may also be a corruption of the name of the Indus River. And there's also the old Hebrew name for India of Hodu too, which once again is believed to derive from the Indus River. That's just a few examples, but suffice to say, India has had a lot of names. In the present day, however, India has 2 official names, that being India and Balat. The first line of the nation's constitution reads, India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states, which gives both names equal importance. This, however, could be changing. So this last part of the video relates to events occurring at the time this video goes live, the 15th of September 2023 to be exact. So if you're watching in the future, it might not be all that relevant, but at the time of writing, there are rumblings that India could actually be dropping the name of India and instead be going solely by Bharat to the wider world. This stems from a recent G20 summit that was held in India. At this event, an invite was handed out to guests, which referred to the nation's president, Draupadi Murmu, as the president of Bharat in English, as opposed to the president of India. On the same day, Prime Minister Modi was also referred to as the Prime Minister of Bharat. This has led many to speculate that the current Indian government is planning to remove the name of India from the country officially and just go by Bharat. The believed reason why Modi and his government want to remove the name India is because it has deep links with the nation's colonial past. As we've discussed heavily already, this is very much a name created by outsiders to the nation, and with Bharat being the indigenous name for the land, he wants it to be named solely as this. This is a tactic we've seen with nationalistic leaders in the past, removing names given to places by outsiders and using native names instead. A key example of this is with the DRC, going by the name of Zaire for some time. India has changed many city and place names already, which were given to them by foreign powers and replaced them with native names, like we saw with Bombay becoming Mumbai. It's understandable why a country might want to rid itself of its colonial history, but there are believed to be other motives at play here. Critics of the removal of the name India claim that this change is being made to remove Muslim influence on the country, specifically the influence of the Mughal Empire, a Muslim empire that ruled the land for 300 years in the past and has had a great influence on the nation to this day. The Mughal Empire helped consolidate the land into one empire, had periods of amazing religious tolerance, and even India's most recognizable landmark, the Taj Mahal, is a product of the Mughal Empire. Many of the name changes made in the country so far are names that were created during the time of the Mughal Empire. Many speculate that the current Indian government are trying to erase their influence in the country, with that name of India being the next in their sight, as the Mughal Empire never seemingly used the name of Bharat, instead using terms like Hindustan. It's easy to see both sides of this argument, and I'm sure you all in the comments will have a respectful discussion about it, like I know you can do. What's especially interesting is that the Indian government have announced a special parliamentary session from the 18th to the 22nd of September, days after this video goes out. No agenda has been announced for this session, but many believe it might relate to the removal of the name India. So at the time of writing, we really don't know the outcome of all of this. By the time you're watching, the name might still be around, or it might have been removed. We really have no idea. I just thought I ought to finally make this video, in the event that we lose the name of India. Name Explain depends on viewers like yourself supporting the channel financially on Patreon, so a huge thank you to everyone who does. Donating just $1 a month helps the channel amazingly and gets you bonuses including ad-free videos, exclusive content, the power to request ideas to be made into actual Name Explain videos, and your name at the end of the video with all these awesome people. Visit patreon.com/NameExplain or click the link down below to find out how you too can support the channel. Thank you. Thanks for reaching the end of the video. Why not watch another and subscribe to keep up to date on all things Name Explain. You can find myself on Instagram where I'm NameExplainYT, and join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain to talk with myself and other name nerds. All that will be linked down below. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and once again, thank you all so much.